Hi, everybody. This week I watched the documentary Notes on Blindness about John Hall, and it was very powerful. I wouldn't say transformative, but it was definitely very powerful and something that's going to stick with me for a while. For those of you who didn't watch it, it detailed the life of a gentleman named John Hall, who, in about midlife, he started to slowly go blind, and he decided to, since this was the 1980s, make an audio recording of essentially like journaling, where he recorded his observations over the course of him going gradually blind and then completely blind, and just the things that he struggled with over the course of that time frame. Um, while it might be different for individuals who were blind from birth, it very much resonates with anyone who has ever considered that thing about what would you rather lose, your eyesight or your sense of hearing. And watching the enactments from the actors playing the characters and hearing the audio recordings of John Hall, it was very powerful because there were a lot of instances where things that you kind of take for granted, um, that he brings attention to. A great example is he is having Christmas with his family, and he has young children, and he is almost completely blind at this point, and he wants to be there. He wants to be the happy father for his children, but with the way everything is situated, his children are still too young to really understand that he is completely blind. He's explained it to them, but it's one of those things, they're young and it doesn't necessarily stick with them. It's not something that they immediately consider. And so he is sitting there with his wife and his children, and they're opening their Christmas presents, and it's almost as if he is disconnected. It's as if he is not even in the room. And it's not something that he did by choice, because he can hear them. He can hear them talking about the presents that they're getting, the warm slippers, things like that, but he can't see it. He can't really make any kind of commentary on it because he can't see. And because he is removed from the interaction in the sense that everyone else can see and he can't, it's almost as if he has been forced out of the room. And it actually comes to a head of sorts when he and his wife start talking about it, and she says that he doesn't look very comfortable, that he should probably go to his study, and so he does. And it's one of those things where it's very powerful. It's something that you take for granted because you don't think about how much information you actually take in by watching your surroundings, watching your loved ones, watching, hell, even watching television. Um, Another thing that really stuck with me for a lot of it is there is even a discussion that Hall uh, proposes to some extent about God and how he is talking with his children, especially as they're getting older, about how he feels about God. And it's one of those things where at the very end he is somewhat resigned and he acknowledges his blindness, which came about, keep in mind, when he was an adult, as something of a gift. Not a gift that he wanted, not a gift that he would give to someone else, but a gift that he received nonetheless. And it's not about now you have the gift, it's about what do you do with it now that you have it. And it's very powerful because it makes you stop and consider, especially if you end up having children in your courses or children in your personal life who are dealing with something like that, how will you change your interactions? How will you stop and consider that step outside of yourself that they may not be able to bring to the table all of the faculties you can? And how will that affect how you interact with them? and it was just overall very powerful, and it was a uh, very good film. I don't really have anything else to say, so I will talk to you all next time.